binary installation. So Postgres binary installation, we're going to do it on a separate mount point that I have created within the Linux server, Linux VM. So the software that we are going to use for this binary installation, so we have a VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox Manager, and inside that I have created a VM, which is an Oracle Enterprise Linux version 7 VM. So let me first start this. And then I'm going to connect to this particular VM using an SSH client, mobile XTUM. Okay, so I'm going to put up a session here and then do the SSH. So let's wait for the VM to come up. There is our VM coming up. So in the meanwhile, we can go through the steps. So Postgres binary installation. So there are certain prerequisites that needs to be done. First, there is a system configuration file that we need to change the setting. One parameter is there, set Linux. We need to change from enforcing to permissive. So in this mode, your C Linux is still active, but it doesn't enforce its policies. Instead, what it does, it logs the action that have been denied if it were in enforcing mode. So this is basically useful for troubleshooting SE Linux related issues without affecting the functioning of your VM. After this is done, then we are going to start and enable the firewall. And within the firewall, we need to enable the default port of Postgres, which is 5432. And then we're going to reload the firewall so that this particular changes will come into effect. And then list whether it is has been enabled or not. So basically 5432 is the default port of Postgres, which will be used for your incoming, outgoing TCP traffic. Okay, so you can see here now the VM is up and running. So let me log through this. I guess the IP address. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the mobile XTerm and then click on the session. Click on session. Go to SSH and then write the IP address. I think the IP address is 29.36 for this. Specify the username. So I'm going to connect it through the root user. Okay, and then click OK. Let me see if it comes back. Okay, so I'm able to connect. So you can see here, if I type here if config, it will give me the IP address. So which is the IP address of the VM. And then if I type here host name, it will give me the host name. So currently this is the host name pg.naveed.com. Now where I want to install my Postgres, since this is a binary installation, not RPM installation. So usually the binary installation, we do it on a separate mount point. So you can see here, I have created a mount point U01, which is having 15 GB. And apart from this mount point, we have other mount points like the root mount point is there. Then we have temporary mount point, home, var, boot. So U01, I'm going to install it. So as if now nothing is there in the U01. So let's start with the first step of the document. First, we have to log in as a root. You can see on the left-hand side, the prompt is root. So let me do a VI editor. And then you can see here the SIT Linux, SE Linux is set to enforcing. So let's change this as a prerequisites to permissive. And then save the file. Then what we have to do, we have to start and enable the firewall. To start the firewall and let me enable the firewall then, and then allow the port. So as if now, if you see right now, no port is allowed through this. Right now, nothing is there. So we need to enable this port for incoming and outgoing traffic. And remember, 5432 is the default port of your Postgres. So let me add this and then reload the firewall. So might be this reload being pasted properly. Okay. Okay, now it's done. Let me list the port. You can see once I'm listing the port, so 5432, the TCP traffic is allowed. Okay. This is done. Now what I have to do, moving to the next step, I have to download the source or the binaries from the below link. So if you go here to this particular site, so you will find the, so let me open the browser and show you the site. So let me go here. Now you can see here all the versions of Postgres. So what I am interested in is in 14.7, I guess. So let me go here, 14.7, click on this. And from here, you're going to get the link. So what I'm interested in basically this one, this particular file. Okay, the fourth one. So what I have to do, I have to simply go here and copy the link. And then, so this is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to the CD U01. So let me go. Let me clear this CD/U01. And if you see the directory is empty, I'm going to get wget and then let me copy it from here. Copy the link and then no check certificate. If you copy this, then you can bypass some check certificate error. So let me download it. So you can see here it's getting downloaded over the internet. Okay. Now if you give ls-ltr, you can see here this file got downloaded. Now what I have to do, I have to untar it. Tar name is zxef, extract the tar file. Okay. Now you can see here I have extracted the 12 file, so it created a directory 14.7. Now coming to the next step, what we have to do. Now we have to make sure this particular RPMs. Now before that, if you go to this particular directory, so let me go to this directory, cd, and there will be a instruction on how to install. So you can see here install, this will be a file. So once you view this file, so you will see how you're going to install this binaries. So here is the list. Okay. But what we are actually interested till here. Okay. And this later on will create the users and the relevant directory and will give the relevant permission. So hyphen configure make su and then make install. So but before that, we have to do some binary, some RPM installations and also make sure this make version is there, correct? So you can see make version is there. Make sure this RPMs are already installed, GCC RPM. Okay, so this GCC RPM is already installed. If it is not there, you can do yum update -y. So it will update your yum repository. You can see here all these RPMs are already installed by default. And let me check another one. Done. Now what I have to do, I have to install this redline dlevel and zlib dlevel. So let me install this. So that is why I'm giving yum -y install -y this. -y means it will not ask you for the prompt, yes or no. That's the reason I'm giving -y. And once this is done, then I have to go and install this zlib. It's installing the the dependency packages as well as the relevant package. Okay, now this is done. Let me install another one, zlib. Okay, so both these packages are done. Now after this, what I have to do, I have to Now create the Postgres user and the necessary directories and then give the relevant permission. Before that, let me allow Postgres to have a sudo access. So I will open a file, sudo file. Then I will go here and then I will simply give Postgres the access. Sorry, I have to be in insert mode. Let me just save this. Once this is done, I will add the group, add the user, and then I will set the password for Postgres. So in my case, I will set the Postgres password as Postgres only. Once this is done, now what I will do, I have to create a directory within the U01 mount point for Postgres installation. So let me create this. And then I have to give the relevant permission. So change owner -r means it will go recursively directories, subdirectories, and subdirectories. So everything will be owned by Postgres user. Now what I have to do, I have to go to the etc password and then I have to change the home directory. So let me go to etc password file, vi etc password, go to the last line, and here I just need to do this, paste this, because whenever I log in as a Postgres user, by default it should log into the, it should go to the this particular directory, home directory, U01 app Postgres. Once this is done, then what I have to do, I have to log in as a Postgres user. This is how I'm going to log in. Let me clear this. SU super user hyphen Postgres. Now you see there, I am not able to understand whether I'm logged in as a Postgres and user or not until unless I type some command like finger or who am I. So let me change the prompt. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a two file. One is bash profile file and another is bash RC. So under the bash profile, what I have to give, I have to give the path. So whenever I'm logging, so by default, the path for the Postgres will be set up. So let me, now this always remember this bash profile and bash RC, they are hidden files and we always need to create it within the home directory of that particular user. So if you can see here, my home directory of Postgres is U01 app Postgres 14. So let me edit this file and put some environment variables in it and then save the file. Similarly, bash.rc to change the command prompt. So whenever I log in as a Postgres, it should show me that I'm working as a Postgres user instead of. Now let me exit. Now when you exit, you get logged out. And then again, if you want to log in, give su-postgres. And now you can see I'm logged in as Postgres at PG. So PG is the host name. If you can type here host name, you'll see PG is the name. So this part is complete. And if you give ID Postgres, you can see the user is already created. Also, if you want to see whether the user is created or not, cat etc password and then grab the Postgres user. In this way, you can see here Postgres user is created and this is his home directory. Fine. Let's move to the next step of actual binary installation. So first we have to change some files for binary installation. So there will be a file under your this one. So let me go to cd u01. U01. So right now U01, give me ls minus ltr. Let me go to cd this one, ls minus ltr, and let me go to this particular file, configure. I guess the file name is configure. Okay, so let me edit this file. So configure is the file you can see here, this file. And here shift G, I need to search for this and then change the default location where I want to do the binary installation. So let me go here and you can see here. So here I will put two places you need to change here. I'll simply copy this U01 because this is where my base directory is. And then again, if you go up, you will see here. So basically, whenever you are executing those scripts, which I just showed you previously, So it will refer this file for the installation. Okay. Now you have to go here and then do the configure. So I'm already in this directory. You can see here U01 Postman. First, I need to execute this file. So dot script, enter. So from here, our actual binary installation is starting. These all steps. Okay, so this step is done. Next step, what we have to do, we have to give make. And this is going to take some time. So let's wait for it to be finished. Okay, so this particular step is finished. We clear this, then log in as a root and then do the make install. So let me log in as a root, Postgres. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have to provide the root password. Okay, then make install. Okay, done. So you can see here. Now we have to do something known as initialize the directory and then start the Postgres database. So let's do this step. Let me exit from the root. I'm logged in as the root, so you can check as a Postgres. Sorry, who am I? Or you can also type finger. Okay, finger command is not there. So who am I will give you the Postgres user. So let me just create a directory. Now see, /u01/Postgres, or rather I should say, this particular home directory will be the base directory. But inside this base directory, we have to also create a data directory. Now inside the data directory will be the files specific related to the Postgres database. Okay. The configuration files will be there, database will be there, all these things will be there. Okay, so let me create that file. Sorry, let me just copy this. Data directory is created, and then now do the initialization. So you can see the command init -d. -d stands for data directory, and this is the data directory. Inside this, all the relevant data files will be created. Now, if you go to under the data directory, you will see nothing. You will see as if now no files are there. You can see here I'm inside the data directory and I don't have any files. So let me follow this step and create this data directory. Now you can see here it will create the relevant data files. And then after the success, you can see you can now start the database server using this particular command. So let me start this, copy this and execute it. And you can see here the database is started. Now, once you give PLSQL -L, if you give, you will see all the databases. Okay, all the databases here. And if you go to the data directory, right now I'm under the data directory, you will see all the files got created. Earlier there were 0 files. After I did the initialization, all the relevant data files are created. You can see postgres.conf, auto.conf, pghb.conf, pgwall for storing the wall files. Okay, you can see the base. Under the base, you have all the database. Whatever the database that you create within Postgres will be under the base directory. Okay, so all these things will be there. Now, after this, we can do. Now, we need to create an automated Postgres instance startup script. Okay, so whenever our VM gets restarted automatically or rebooted automatically, the database server should also be started. So let me copy this file. Now I have to do it as a root. So let me exit it. You can see here I'm logged in as root now. Edit this file and then paste this piece of information. So whatever the contents here. Okay. Once this is done, then you add this command cmod change modification, the permission of the file, and then check config. In the configuration, you add this file, this user, and then you can list it whether it has been listed or not. Okay. Now we have to, for remote connection, what we need to do, we need to edit these two files. Okay. First is the configuration file postgres.conf, which we find under the data directory, and pg_hba.conf, which will be again under the data directory. And then, so whenever we are making changes to these two files, we have to always restart our Postgres instance. So let me open this file. Now we need to edit it as a Postgres user. So let me clear this super user -Postgres. Then vi shift G. Then I will search for this listen, and you can see here it is here. Let me, as if now for this demo purpose, I will give from star means from anywhere. It can accept any connections. But in actual production environment, we give the CIDR value. So let me save this. And then again, pghba.conf will be under this one. So Shift G. So here under the IP4, I can give here post all. So basically, and then here it will be all, and then the method will be MD5. MD5 means it requires password authentication to able to log in into the database. So I did this. Now let me restart this file. Sudo etc init restart. It will ask you for Postgres because okay. Now if you do here status, you will see where Postgres is running or not. So you can see here server is running. Also one way, another way, ps minus ef grep Postgres. If you do, you will see here Postgres is running. You can see here postmaster, you can see checkpointer, background writer, wall writer, all these background process are running. And this is the daemon postmaster process. And it is referencing this data directory. Okay, anyways, this is done. Now let me log in here and as a PLSQL and then -L if you give, it will give you the list of inbuilt databases that comes with this binary. So we have Postgres, default databases, template 0, template 1, and then -du plus if you give, it will give you the Postgres user. Now what I have to do first, I have to set the Postgres password. Okay. So for this, I'll do alter user Postgres with a password as Postgres. This one is done. And then I will create another user. Let me create another user. Let's say DBA with super user and password is DBA. And if I give du plus, you can see one user is there, DBA, which just has the super user. And we have a default user Postgres, which has all the privileges. Okay. Now, always remember this Postgres user, which is the database user, is different than the Postgres user, which is defined on the OS level. So these two are two different entities. So don't get confused between these two. If you see here the show port, if I type here show port, so you can see here 5432 is the default port. Okay. And if you see here show data directory, so show data directory, it will show you which is my data directory. So this is my data directory. Now let me do one thing. Let me try to see if I can log in this from, if I can log in this from, there is a DB visualizer is there. So let me log in through DB visualizer. And see, this is the client. So you have my PG admin is there. DB visualizer is there. So many clients are there through which you can check whether you are able to connect or not. So let me go here and click on the connection on the left side. Click here, create database connection. Okay. And here I will give the IP address. No, not here. So here I will just give the pg.naveed.com, which is the name of my VM. And JDBC driver, I will give here Postgres. So you can see here Postgres is localhost. Here I will define the IP address 192.168.29.36. And here I will give the user as Postgres and password as Postgres. Yes. Let me try to do a connect. Okay, I'm able to connect. You can see I connected. Here I'll go and give the SQL commander. And you can see here I'm able to connect. So PG, these are the databases right now. So if I give here show port and then execute it, it will give me the port is 400. Okay, and let me type some queries and all if I have them. Okay, now let me type this query. So what are the activities there that is happening? Okay. So let me execute this, and you can see here right now only Postgres is connected. Okay, so from the DB visualizer you can see, and one from the PSQL. So I am connected through PSQL. Okay. So that's how you have to do all the installation of binaries. Next time, I'm going to show you how we can do the default installation using the RPM method. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you.